This video will provide an introduction to the IBM Cloud-Native Toolkit. Information on the Cloud-Native Toolkit can be found at https://cloudnativetoolkit.dev. As stated on this page, the Cloud-Native Toolkit is an open-source collection of assets that enable application development and support teams to deliver business value quickly using Red Hat OpenShift or IBM Cloud-managed Kubernetes. The goal of the Cloud-Native Toolkit is to prepare the development environment quickly. Through the automation provided by the Cloud-Native Toolkit, we can provision an environment in minutes that is fully configured and ready for a development team to start working immediately. The Cloud-Native Toolkit encapsulates many of the available best practices for cloud-native development, including DevOps and build-to-manage practices. This way, developers and site reliability engineers can benefit from those practices without requiring any additional effort, and they can be applied consistently from project to project. Containerized platforms like Red Hat OpenShift and Kubernetes provide a great deal of functionality and flexibility for application teams. However, these platforms can seem unapproachable for those new to the environment, given all the different concepts and components. The Cloud-Native Toolkit helps with the learning curve by providing learning journeys, which introduces these concepts and provides practical scenarios along with tools and techniques that help with the complex aspects of the platform. The IBM Cloud-Native Toolkit provides a collection of tools that can be used in part or in whole to support the activities of the software development lifecycle. These assets include guides on how to use the components together and utilize cloud-native practices to deliver business solutions, Terraform scripts and GitOps configuration to provide and manage the environment, a Cloud CLI that provides commands that simplify common steps used in the development process, a dashboard component and Red Hat OpenShift console extensions to simplify common developer activities, DevOps continuous integration pipelines for Tekton and Jenkins, starter kits and code patterns software repositories that can be used to quickly get started building applications using common patterns or to serve as a reference to enhance existing patterns. And learning journeys are activities and material to teach how to apply cloud-native practices in real-world scenarios using the toolkit. This diagram illustrates the environment that the toolkit installs and other components it integrates with to support the full system development lifecycle. A quick run-through of the process is: developers use IDEs and the CLI to write code which is delivered to a source code repository. This triggers the CI process, which uses code inspection tools, contract testing, and vulnerability scanning to run tests and validate the code. Once complete, it pushes the image to the image registry and an artifact management system as needed and deploys it to the development environment. The CI will then use a GitOps repository to trigger the CD process, which then pushes the image to the other environments such as test, staging, and production. Let's review some of the key components. Jenkins is an open-source automation server that can be used to automate all sorts of tasks related to building, testing, and delivering or deploying software. It is a perfect tool for helping manage continuous integration tasks for a wide range of software components and is used by many of our clients. Tekton is a flexible Kubernetes native open source framework for creating continuous integration and delivery pipelines. It lets you build, test, and deploy across multiple cloud providers or on-premise systems by abstracting away the underlying implementation details. Artifactory is an artifact management repository that hosts multiple binary repositories. It is like a database management system for artifacts. The binary repository complements the source code repository. The code from an SCM is the input into the build process, whereas a binary repository stores the output of the build process, often called artifacts. The artifacts are often individual application components that can be later used to assemble into a full product. Argo is a declarative GitOps continuous delivery tool for Kubernetes. The deployment environment is a namespace in a container platform like Kubernetes or Red Hat OpenShift. Argo CD models a collection of applications as a project and uses a Git repository to store the application's desired state. Argo CD is flexible in the structure of the application configuration repository in the Git repository. The Day Zero Prepare section contains details on how to plan and perform the installation of the toolkit. The Day One Build and Deploy section is where you start if you have a development cluster with the toolkit installed. It helps you get started with deploying your application utilizing the toolkit and the pipelines. The Day 2 Run and Manage section covers everything about deploying and managing the applications after they have been developed. The Tool Guides contains information on what each of the components does and how to use them to develop and deliver your solution. The Administrator Guide provides information for a system administrator on how to use and extend the toolkit components to manage the cloud environments. The Architecture Guide covers the architecture in detail. It tells how to plan and configure it for development teams and how to build and manage the applications that are developed. The starter kits are the entry points to help you get started quickly with the toolkit and cloud-native development for your application. There are starter kits to help you get started with user interfaces, backends for front ends, microservices, and edge apps. And lastly, the Learning Journey section contains materials to be used to learn the various topics and activities to develop a modern cloud-native application.